Welcome everybody to our presentation today, going cashless in your business. My name is Mike Bindrup. I am an instructor with UNR Extension, Small Business Education Program. And we're gonna go ahead and begin. But before we talk about our topic today, I just want to give a plug for one of our great partners, the Nevada Department of Business and Industry. And they do so much for small business in our ecosystem in our state here. And they have a business resource center on their website. If you go to business.nv.gov, it's a great resource, and they have something called the roadmap, and you can click and download this. It's an interactive PDF file, and no matter what you're doing in business in Southern Nevada, if you want to plug into our small business ecosystem, this is the place you can do it. It has a list of all of our resources that are there, including our program. We're part of this as well, and it's one of a kind that we have here for our state. So if you want to plug into our small business ecosystem, please download the roadmap today. You can access that at business.nv.gov, and want to thank the State of Nevada's Department of Business and Industry for being such a great resource partner, always being very supportive of our program and moving ahead with small business issues here. So today we're talking about payment options, right? Different cashless systems. So our outline today, we're going to talk about different payment app options. We're also going to talk about best practices to help you organize your accounting and some action plan strategies for success. So first of all, we're going to talk about PayPal. Okay, PayPal is our largest payment processing system that we have. They're a multinational financial technology company. They were established in 1998. They had 6 founders, one of which was Elon Musk, right? And they went through an IPO later that year. eBay bought them for $1.5 billion and then spun them off in 2015 to become their own independent company, and is ranked 134th of the Fortune 500 companies in the United States. So just a behemoth company that's there. They're our oldest and largest payment processing system that we have in the United States. So what does PayPal allow you to do? And if you're not familiar with PayPal, you've probably heard about it. PayPal is the most widely recognized brand name that we have. It allows you to accept payments. So you can accept payments on your website when you're checking out. Simple solution. PayPal has branched out to allow customers to buy now and pay later, usually in 4 interest-free installment payments through PayPal credit at no additional cost to you as the business owner, which is kind of nice. So you can give people the option to use that or not. Also, PayPal is great. They allow you to have recurring payments and subscriptions that are on there. So if you have somebody that's purchased, for example, if you want to sell a newsletter or you have some kind of recurring charge that you can give to them, that's able to do. You can set this up on PayPal so that you can actually say, I have a subscriber and they're going to get charged $12 a month for the rest of the year. You can set that up to have that recurring, and that automatically goes out and bills people, and they get an email in their inbox that says, hey, you owe us $12, and with one click they can pay it. What's a great option about PayPal too is they're for invoicing and estimates. Okay, so you can actually invoice your customers right inside of PayPal. A lot of people aren't aware of that, so it's great for small business. You can also send estimates over if you're doing for example, construction, right? You can send an estimate over to somebody for construction, and if they say, yeah, okay, go, you can convert that very quickly, just like with one click, into an invoice, and then the people can pay you based on that. You can also sell on social networks. So whether you're selling on Facebook or Instagram or even Twitter at this point, you can create shareable listings that can track across different social media platforms, which is kind of nice. They process all debit and credit cards. So anybody, you don't have to have a PayPal account to pay somebody who's who's asking for payment through PayPal. So PayPal is a processor, just like when you use your credit card at any retailer. It's the same concept with PayPal, right? They process all credit cards, American Express, Discover, anything any place that can take any sort of debit or credit cards. PayPal allows you to do both of those things. Okay. One of the coolest things about PayPal is they were one of the first services that offered a business debit card. So when you receive payments through PayPal, you have your business debit card, and you can do one of three things. You can send the funds to your own personal bank account, right? Or you can use the business debit card and you can go shopping, or you can go to an ATM and pull the money out. So it works quintessentially like an online bank account for you. Now, PayPal, as well as all the services we're going to talk about today, all tie into your bank account. So when you set this up, you tie everything in together. So like I said, PayPal is this business debit MasterCard, which is terrific, which allows you to have really great access over your money. What's really cool is you can pay your contractors and vendors directly from your account, and you can schedule these payments. So if you have construction draws, you can actually do this through PayPal. They're a little trickier to set up directly through your bank, right? Also, payouts, like if you have different, let's say you have different either employees or people you're paying, or like, let's say you got salespeople across different countries that use different currencies. You can schedule multiple disbursements to people in different places at the same time. So payouts can be received in 96 countries in 24 different currencies. Just about everybody is on PayPal, okay? I remember back a few years ago, the only country in the Western Hemisphere, I think was Uruguay, was not on PayPal for whatever reason, but I think that's been rectified now. And there, like I said, 96 countries, pretty much if you're doing business, you'll fall within this net, so it'll be good. At the same time too, there's 30 million merchants who rely on PayPal as their processor of choice when you get there. And like I said, they're the largest. They also have a new thing called Zelle, right? Which is their point of sale system. So they actually sell terminals, and we'll talk about that in a second. They sell terminals and actual physical hardware. Just like when you go to your bank and you want to purchase a credit card processing station, Zelle does that, and that's their branded platform for point of sale. And also, PayPal acquired Venmo recently, okay? And one of the things Venmo did was they used QR codes for complete cashless payments, right? So, and you may say, Mike, how are QR codes, how does that make stuff easier for my business? Well, let's say you're operating a business, like maybe you're at a farmer's market, or you're operating a food truck or something like that. You can put your QR code right up, just like it shows here. Somebody can just shoot that with their phone, and they already have all your information, and you just tell them how much you're sending them, you send it to them, and they get it. Completely cashless payment, which is really nice. Venmo kind of pioneered that because Venmo's part of PayPal. They work in tandem perfectly. So that's kind of a cool feature that it's there. So like I said, this is Settle. Run your business the way with PayPal Zelle, and this is their point of sales. They have tons of different things. They have an entire website inside of the PayPal site that's dedicated to Settle. So if you need to get point of purchase equipment, depending on the type of business that you have, there are several options. PayPal is definitely one to look at for this. You can run the entire back end of your business on PayPal if you needed to, which is great. Originally it started just as a credit card processor, but it's a full end banking system now, which is nice. Our next one we're going to talk about is Venmo, and Venmo is kind of one of the new kids on the block. It was founded in 2013 by two roommates at the University of Pennsylvania, which is kind of cool. Venmo account holders can transfer funds via mobile phone app, but both the sender and receiver have to live in the United States. Okay, so we have some banking rules due to because of terrorist activities and money laundering. Most of the time, these transactions have to happen in the US for these kind of cashless payment systems. So originally Venmo was started as a way to split the bill with friends. You go out to the movies, somebody picks it up on their card, nobody has cash. Can I just Venmo you the money, right? I found out about this from one of my nephews. Was like, just Venmo me the money. I was like, what's that? And so there it is. So because they got bought by PayPal, all merchants that accept PayPal can now accept Venmo, which is terrific. And what's interesting about Venmo, and if you've ever used Venmo, first time I used it was a little odd because it has a social component to it. So Venmo publishes every peer-to-peer transaction without the amount. The amount's not there. But if I open up Venmo right now, anybody who I'm friends with on Facebook or any social platforms, it'll show me what they're doing. So, which is a little weird. You know, I'm a little older. I'm a little nervous about stuff like that, right? So it'll say, hey, Dave paid Phil. And then you can put the stuff down there. And so you can put, you know, for babysitting or piano lessons. I was just scrolling through yesterday. I was looking, it was like, you know, for dinner, thank you, or for babysitting, or for gymnastics lessons, or for this, or for that. And what happened was originally this feature was built in. You couldn't turn it off or anything. And that was a little odd when I first started using it. But in the last year, they had, there was a feature, researchers showed that's a little too revealing about who we're doing business with in some situations. So you can choose not to publish that now. There was a lawsuit that came out, and so they changed that so that it could be turned off. So like when I purchased, I turned it off, but you know, and you can put funny stuff on there if you want to. I was looking through, a few of my friends were putting some funny stuff on there, but it's all good. But it was supposed to be kind of a social experience. And so your friends are using it, you're using it, you can see who uses it, which is kind of nice. And so and you transfer money, it's there in seconds, which is terrific. So in Venmo recently, like within the last year, because of the PayPal purchasing them, they've really started to lean towards business. Okay, and so if you have a Venmo account, you can get a business profile, and it's very simple to set up. It's similar to kind of Google My Business. If you get a Venmo profile, you simply add your profile pic, your background image, and it appears in your customers' feeds, showing up what they bought for you, right? So it looks just like this when you sign up. You literally tap create a business profile, you customize it, and you publish it. It's super simple, right? And like I said, Venmo pioneered these touch-free transactions with a QR code kit. So you can get a free QR code from Venmo that you can just show to people, and there you go. So for like a nonprofit, let's say you've got a nonprofit, if people want to donate to the nonprofit, real simple, you just show them your QR code. You can print that QR code on the back of business cards and hand those out and say, please donate this year to this thing. My nephew's kid came over the other day. He's running some kind of a turkey trot thing for Thanksgiving, raising money for their elementary school. And I said, okay, I'll donate $20 to it. And so I went to donate, and I had to go through this very archaic system. It took me 15 minutes just to set this up, and I had to fill out all this information, do this on this online platform. If you would have had a card that says do it via Venmo, I could have clicked it, and within 2 clicks, you're done. Make it easy for people to give you money. I can't stress that enough. We like to do business with people that make it easy for us to do business with. So make sure that happens. So Venmo's very inexpensive too. So the transaction fees are 1.9% plus 10 cents per transaction when you're purchasing through a business account. So that's a very low fee, which is wonderful. And so I think that PayPal's been targeting Venmo to hit some of the areas that they were kind of weak in. And it's very interesting. So Venmo, like I said, is accepted everywhere that PayPal is. Venmo is there too. Their rates are a little bit better. So definitely set yourself up a business profile and have that. It's free to get set up. And of course, Venmo just sent me a debit card too for my business account, which was kind of cool. And so just like PayPal, you have a Venmo card that when you get paid, you get notification, you got paid, you got money in your Venmo account. You can now wire that money to your personal bank account. You can go shopping, or you can go to the ATM and pull that cash out, and it's available instantly, which is really a cool feature that it has. All right, next we're going to talk about Zelle. Zelle is the service that everybody has, but you probably don't know you even have it. So Zelle is owned by a company called Early Warning Systems, LLC. It's a private financial services company, but guess who owns Early Warning Systems? It's owned by several large banks. Okay, so it's owned by Bank of America, BB&T, Capital One, JP Morgan Chase, PNC Bank, US Bank, and Wells Fargo. How's that for a laundry list of heavy hitters in the financial services sector? What happened was these banks saw that people were using services like PayPal, like Venmo, and they said, hey, we need to have our own system in place for doing easy transactions, easy sending of money, cashless systems like this. So what Zelle does is it enables individuals to electronically transfer money from their bank accounts to another registered user's bank account, once again within the United States. Remember, we have those laws, using a mobile device or the website of a participating banking institution. Most of the time, this is built into your apps, and it was launched in 2017, so they're kind of a little late to the game. However, most banks, if you're a member of any of these banks, you have this app already built in. This is the way you transfer money. So why use Zelle? It's on your phone already. You may not even realize it, but if you're a Wells Fargo customer or a Bank of America customer or a Chase customer, it's there already. So there's more than 1,000 banking apps that use Zelle automatically into it. So it works with anybody that has a bank account that has Zelle. You can shoot the stuff right to them, which is really nice. All you need is their phone number or their email address to pay them right through your banking app. And what's great is it's in your banking app, so you can do it. It's secure and it's free to use, which is great. So if you're sending money for babysitting or whatever, I actually pay my child support through Zelle to my ex. How about that, right? Simple, boom, 2 clicks and it's done. It's very easy, it's very effective. It's inside your bank account and it's secure. So how to send money with Zelle? You simply log into your app, you pick the person to pay, you choose the amount. That's it. Seriously, it takes less than 1 minute to issue a payment to someone through Zelle, which is nice. Okay, I just went on to Zelle's site and I pulled a screenshot of, it says, get started, find my bank. I just pulled the first page of the B's, and there's probably 8 pages of B's because it has bank in the name, right? There's like over 1,000 participating institutions. So like I said, chances are you're already on this and you already have this. So you definitely want to do that. Now it shows a $Z $sign. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Camille. So you don't send to somebody that isn't signed up. Absolutely, they have to be part of it. So that's a great feature that it has there. So I know 5-6 years ago we started with this online bill. I was with Chase a few years ago when they introduced this kind of online bill pay, and it was kind of like, huh, what do you mean you can pay my bills for me? Yeah, how do we do that? Well, you got to set it up, and it was a little clunky, right? And so this is all previous to these systems, and now with Zelle, it really simplifies things, which is great. Okay, let's talk about Stripe. You may not have heard of Stripe, but Stripe is it's an Irish-American financial services software company. It's dual headquartered in San Francisco and Dublin, Ireland. It was founded in 2009 by 2 Irish entrepreneur brothers, John and Patrick Collison. In 2011, they got a $2 million investment from some pretty important people, including Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, who were 2 of the founders of PayPal originally. And the company offers payment processing, application, programming interfaces. Those are called APIs. You've ever heard that term? For mostly e-commerce websites and mobile applications. Okay, so Stripe is kind of right now is the backbone infrastructure to payments on the internet. Okay, so Stripe handles stuff almost exclusively via websites. So they run the back end. So for instance, in here, if you have Instacart, Salesforce, Shopify, all Shopify sites process their payments through Stripe. Okay, Amazon, Lyft, Google, all these are operating within Stripe's infrastructure on the internet. Okay, so if you sell things on a website, Stripe is a good option to have for that. And here's the reason why. Their stuff is fully integrated in. They have solutions for just about everything. They're kind of the secret company you probably never heard of, but they're running a lot of stuff. If you've ever purchased something on, on a Shopify site, you've probably used Stripe and never even realized it. So they have so much stuff that's there. It's totally scalable. These guys, Stripe has 135 plus currencies worldwide because they have that Irish connection. They really scaled heavily into Europe. Okay, so it makes it super easy to launch new products, especially if you're trying to sell in different languages, different currencies, which is great. All these apps are terrific for doing global business because what it does is it keeps, if you've ever traveled to a foreign country and you're trying to exchange currency, right? You go to like a change house to exchange your currency. You don't always get the best deals, and usually credit card companies get the best deals because they're doing such a volume and transaction. What's nice about this is those things are handled all for you, and it gets back to your account in dollars, which is the most important part. So you know you're getting optimal exchange rates automatically from it, and there we go. So they have these hosted payment pages, and this is very simple. Like even this one, you can pay with Google Pay up here, but Stripe is powering this whole checkout system. Even though you may be paying with Google Pay or Apple Pay or something else, down here at the bottom, you can see it says powered by Stripe. Stripe just sits in the background and just runs, and it runs some of the biggest platforms that we have. So if you're in a business where you have an online shopping cart and a very robust system where you're selling different products, and you definitely want to look at Stripe as a potential for you. It has fully customized stuff. If you want to have a rocket, an animation of a rocket shoot off as somebody issues a payment, you can code that into Stripe. Okay, so it gives complete flexibility. So whether you're a micro business, single person, solopreneur, great, to a multinational company, they can all use Stripe, which is really wonderful. You can also create custom invoices. It integrates with every mobile app that you have. So if you have a custom mobile app you've developed for your business, Stripe can integrate with that. There's in-person payments. There's something called the Stripe terminal that they can do as well. So very similar to what PayPal has, or anybody that has a terminal, or when you buy from your bank, Stripe can handle that as well. And they're a giant company, which is great. Okay. Because of that, they have they use artificial intelligence, machine learning programs to make sure that fraud is reduced as much as possible, okay? And maximizing acceptance. The most risky transactions that happen online happen when somebody just types a credit card number into a website, right? Because if you think about it, you're not there in person to actually swipe that card. So if you're in person, you have the card in person, you get cheaper rates usually as a business owner because fraud's reduced because, hey, you're there with a card. It's one thing to steal somebody's information. It's another thing to steal somebody's card, right? So it's harder to commit fraud using an actual physical card than using just the information online. So Stripe really works hard to prevent fraud in that aspect. Okay, let's talk about Square. Square is an American financial services company headquartered in San Francisco, California. That's a trend, right? Silicon Valley. It was founded in 2009 by Jack Dorsey and Jim McKelvey and launched his first platform in 2010. Jack Dorsey also founded Twitter. How about that, right? So he owns Twitter, and he founded Square as well. So it's traded on the New York Stock Exchange. SQ is their symbol, and they have over 100 billion in market capitalization rate as of right now. Square has done some tremendous things in the last couple of years. They started out very small, and they've just grown and grown. So this is just some screen captures from their website. The future of business is yours to shape. They specialize in point of purchase systems. You probably use Square and maybe you haven't even realized it. If you've gone to a coffee shop or a little restaurant or something, they have these terminals, and sometimes they'll spin the screen around. You sign the screen. There you go. That's probably a Square terminal, a Square integrated terminal. So you may be familiar with this Square reader here on the right. This is how they first got introduced to the market. They plugged in your phone, and you could swipe a credit card and then take a credit card in person. So if you were at a farmer's market or a restaurant or something like that, and somebody says, hey, can I pay you with a card? Or you're a cosmetologist, you cut hair. People can give you a card, or if you're babysitting or whatever. They made it really simple. And in fact, it disrupted the market a little bit because PayPal did not have this capability at that time. PayPal was focusing on just websites. They didn't have the ability to take a credit card in person on your device. So shortly after Square released this, PayPal had a triangular reader that they released that plugged in your phone as well. So they still have those readers that you can use. There's also a contactless and a chip reader, because with the new chips, you don't swipe, right? So you stick that right in and you get it. There's also the Square terminal that is there, and that's for point of sale stuff. And then they have Square Register and Square Stand. You've probably seen these at places and you haven't even realized that you're using Square, right? So Square is everywhere, and Square, like I said, has made huge inroads. Now they accept every kind of payment, touchless, phone payments, Apple Pay, Google Pay. They take it all. And they do it very securely, and they make it really simple. So their interface is great. So here's some of the services they have. They have virtual terminal, right? So you can take payments over the phone if you need to, instead of a mobile device. So like I said, if you're dealing business with somebody and they prefer to call you and give you their credit card number on the phone, which some of your customers do. And like I said, you want to make sure that your customers have the easiest customer experience possible to pay you. Don't make it difficult for your customers to pay you. You don't want to do that. Make it as simple as possible for your customers to pay you. A few years ago, there was a pizza chain here that started accepting Mexican pesos. It was called Pizza Patron, and they started accepting pesos. Why? Because a lot of their customers were from Mexico, right? And Mexicans that travel to Mexico and live in the United States, guess what? They have leftover currency that's there, so they could come in and spend pesos. I thought that was amazing. And some people are like, that's really weird. And I said, no, it's brilliant, right? Make it easy for your customers to pay you, right? So virtual terminal. You can also do gift cards for your business through Square. I don't know of any other service that does that. So you can set up and sell gift cards. They also have a full marketing suite available, dashboard and analytics on your whole thing as far as that goes. So we said for a retail point of sale system, it manages your inventory. How about that? Same with a restaurant. You can manage from counter service, run your restaurant. You can build and scale a restaurant very easily, and they have whole solutions set up for this. And then guess what? They went into a full business back end. So Square is now affiliated with an official FDIC insured bank, right? So they handle payroll now, time cards for your employees, business loans. Like they're the only service that's offering some of this stuff, plus a full bore checking account. There's Square Checking. They even have appointment point of sale system. So if you're a stylist and you want to take an appointment, you can take your appointments through the Square system and schedule payments with it. Private remote sessions. If you're a therapist and you're doing work like this is really wonderful stuff. There's also checkout links, buy buttons. They do QR codes too. Since Venmo pioneered that, it's been easily copied because it's very simple to put your QR code up on a food truck or at your chair where you're at your salon. Click that and then boom, they can send you money. Make it easy for people to send you money. If they use Venmo, great, accept Venmo. If they use PayPal, accept PayPal. Wherever somebody wants to pay you, you want to set these up so that you're ready to go. And then of course, point of sale, everything you need for a point of sale business, they really have, okay? So what's wonderful about these payment processing systems is they're all here, they're all free to set up, they all integrate with your bank accounts, right? So like I said, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to pay you. Don't make the customer shopping experience difficult. Just like I said, when I was trying to fill out that thing for my nephew's kid, it took me 15 minutes to donate $20. You don't want that, okay? If you're a school and you're trying to raise money, it's real easy to give your kids a QR code and say, just have your parents shoot this with a phone and donate. How easy is that, right? When people are ready to buy, make the process simple for them, okay? So what I would suggest, best practices for this, set up 2 to 3 apps, okay? Set up PayPal, set up Venmo, set up Square, get this stuff set up. Why? Because it's free and available, because your customers may want to pay you through any of these options, okay? Make sure your website is set up to receive payments. I had somebody tell me the other day, they're like, well, I'm an accountant. Why would I need to accept money on my website? I said, because people want to pay you easier. So how hard is it to put a button on your website that says pay me, and there's a PayPal button, issue payment. And so if your customer calls you and goes, hey, I owe you for my tax returns, how do I send you, should I send you a check or what? Like, no, just go to our website, click the button on the top right that says pay me now, and to just issue the payment. There you go, real easy, right? Make it easy for customers. I can't stress that enough. We like to do business with people that we like to do business with. It's an extra bonus if it's easy to do business with them, okay? You don't want to make it difficult on your customers to give you money. Make it easy for them to give you money. If they want, however they want to pay you, make sure to get that set up and have that access available when they want to open that wallet and pay you. Okay, so your action plan now for all this. So, okay, Mike, I got my stuff set up. I'm set up with 3 or 4 of these platforms. This is great. I'm now accepting some payments. You have to be organized. What's really tricky about this is when it comes time for your taxes and your small business, you all of a sudden you're scrambling to pull data from different sources. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to include payments I got via PayPal. I have to go in there. Now, all these places all report to IRS, okay? So you'll get issued a 1099 for miscellaneous income that comes through on these things. So just keep that in mind. You have to be compliant with everything. So be organized. If you're issuing invoices through PayPal or another one of these systems, go in, print the invoices out so you have a physical record of it. So that helps you to be a little more organized. So you can make sure that you can have a record of all your transactions, print your invoices. This will help your tax person to help you get your taxes done easier. And then make sure to reconcile. Now, one of the reasons I recommend having 2 or 3 of these services is recently I had a transaction that went through PayPal, and because of fraud prevention, PayPal sent me a note that said, I need a little more information about this payment you received. And they wanted me to tell what type of transaction this was. It was fairly invasive, right? But I had to say that before I could actually withdraw my money from the account. It almost froze my account until the fraud verification went through, okay? The other thing is you could have a disagreement with a customer, which we all have those, right? And so if the customer can, if they paid you via PayPal or something, they could say, they could dispute the charge, just like any consumer can dispute a credit card charge, right? What happens if the customer paid you $800 and you spent a little bit of it? What they'll do is they'll just freeze your account and you can't take it out until they do an investigation. This can last a couple of weeks sometimes, and I don't want to if you're only using one of these, let's say you're just on PayPal, if you have no other way to take in money, if your account is frozen, I wouldn't suggest putting more money into it, right? Because that's going to be frozen as well until they do this investigation. If that's the case, you can switch over to Venmo, or you can switch over to Square. Make sure that you have these available so that you can fully move ahead. We don't want to hinder your business in any way. And if there's any burps or hiccups with this type of stuff, away you go. I recommend the same thing, that you don't have only one bank in your business. Okay, you should have at least a couple of financial institutions you work with, just in case there's some. What if there's fraud on one of your accounts? You have to close down your system. You don't want to be waiting a week before you can transact business, right? If you have another banking account, you can instantly switch over to that. You can instantly move money around or whatever that you need to do. I had a situation in my own business where I had a company that had committed fraud. They were, I had paid them via check, and then they duplicated the check and submitted it 5 or 6 times. And the only way that I could stop the activity was to close the account for the fraud, right? And so that crippled me for a couple of weeks, because you have to get all new cards set up. You have to get all this stuff done. I had something recently that happened too. I had fraud on a personal account, and it extended over. My bank wanted me to change my business account too. Luckily, I had another financial institution that I could roll over to immediately and move ahead with that. So like I said, we want to be organized, print all your stuff, make sure to reconcile, have some of these services available. If you're not familiar with this, get familiar with them, sign up on these. You're going to be pleasantly surprised how familiar people are with paying online now. I remember back in the day when it was like, oh my gosh, do I put my credit card in the computer? I'm scared to death. This is scary stuff, right? If we're not there anymore. We're there with, boom. I want to pay my buddy for something, I can pay him right from my iPhone. No problems, right? And that's great. We want it to be easy, simple, and effective, because we want you to run a business as streamlined and effective as possible. Okay, so thank you. That was our presentation today. Our website is extension.unr.edu/BusDev. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And then I just want to put a plug in too. We just have launched an online virtual classroom, and at extension.unr.edu/BusDev, if you go there, it will show our virtual classroom. And these are some of our topics that we have. It's in Spanish and in English, so it's bilingual. And we hit a variety of different topics in several areas: finance, marketing, operations, management, and startup. And every week we teach a class in English and Spanish, just like this one. And this will be part of our library as well. And we have some specialty classes up there as well. We have over 120 videos that are up currently that you can get on and learn at any time. The ones that have the blue backgrounds are quick tips and how-tos. Those are usually less than 5 minutes. And then we have full-length classes like this one today. Those usually have a gray background. And we cover, like I said, a variety of business topics. And also we're launching a podcast starting in January that we'll be talking to about very current small business issues. And so our whole goal at the Small Business Education Program is education. We want to make sure that you have all the education you need to make proper business decisions and move ahead. Because when you do well, we do well as a community and as a state. And we just want to help business in Nevada and help by helping you be better business owners. So thank you very much.